I have been alive for 92 years. I have buried a husband, 2 friends, both of my parents, and one of my children. I have raised 3 children and watched them become people I did not entirely predict. I have made decisions I was proud of, and decisions I spent decades regretting. I have watched the world change in ways I could never have imagined, standing in that church picnic in Ohio in 1952, in my yellow dress, thinking I had the whole thing figured out. I did not have it figured out, but I have learned some things, not from books, from living, from making the mistakes and surviving them and sitting quietly with what they left behind. Today I want to share 10 of those things with you, not as advice, but as things I know to be true after 92 years of being wrong about most of them first. Take what is useful, leave the rest. Number 1, most of your worries will never happen, and the things that do go wrong will almost never be the ones you spent all that time worrying about. I was a champion worrier. I could turn any situation, no matter how benign, into a source of sustained dread within about 15 minutes of quiet reflection. The catastrophes I anticipated almost never arrived. What arrived instead were things I never saw coming. The phone call on a Tuesday morning. The diagnosis nobody expected. The loss that came from a direction I hadn't been watching. What worry did was consume the present. It stole years of genuinely good days and replaced them with the rehearsal of disasters that never came. I worried through dinners that deserved to be enjoyed, through summers that deserved to be felt, through quiet evenings with Harold that I would give anything to have back. Worry is not preparation. It is just suffering in advance. If I could give back one habit from my life, it would be that one. Number 2, the body keeps score. Every year of not sleeping enough, not moving enough, the body remembers all of it, and it will present you with the bill eventually. I treated my body like a vehicle I was borrowing. I ran it hard and maintained it poorly. Bodies are remarkably patient, but patience is not the same as forgiveness. By the time I was in my 70s, I was managing conditions that had their roots in decisions I had made in my 40s, the weight I had carried too long, the sleep I had sacrificed, the stress I had held in my shoulders and my jaw instead of releasing it somewhere. The body kept all of it, faithfully, accurately, with interest. Start listening now, not later. Now. Number 3, loneliness is a choice more often than people admit. For most people, loneliness persists not because connection is unavailable, but because reaching out feels too vulnerable, too risky. I had a neighbor named Ruth for 11 years. Ruth's husband died the same year Harold did. I assumed she was managing. I told myself she probably had family nearby, friends I didn't know about. She didn't. Ruth had spent most of those years profoundly lonely, sitting in that house across the yard from me, assuming I was busy, assuming she shouldn't impose. 2 lonely women separated by a lawn and an assumption. The cure for loneliness is almost always on the other side of a phone call you have been putting off. Send the message, make the call, knock on the door. Number 4, your children are watching everything. They're taking notes whether you know it or not. I saw myself in my daughter Catherine for the first time when she was 43 years old. She said something, the tone of it, the particular way she framed her certainty, and I stopped completely, because I had said that exact thing in that exact tone more times than I could count. Some of what I saw made me proud, but some of it made me think about the weight of what I had passed on without meaning to, the anxiety that had lived in our house like a fifth family member. She learned those things from watching me. I learned them from watching my mother. My mother learned them from hers. Be careful what you model. It outlives you. Number 5, forgiveness is not a feeling. It is a decision you make and then remake every morning until one day you realize you don't have to make it anymore. There was a woman who said something at a dinner party that humiliated me in front of people I respected. I carried that for 8 years. 8 years of a low, steady anger that did nothing to her and considerable damage to me. What finally changed was not the feeling. What changed was the decision. I decided on an ordinary Thursday morning while washing dishes that I was done letting that dinner party live in my present. You decide first. The feeling follows, sometimes slowly, sometimes years later, but it follows. Number 6, money matters less than you think and more than you want to admit. It matters less because the things that determine whether your life feels meaningful cannot be purchased. But financial stress is corrosive. It eats at marriages quietly and steadily. Harold and I had years of financial difficulty early in our marriage. I remember what that did to the air in our house, the way tenderness became harder to access when fear was always in the room. Enough money to not be afraid is a genuine form of freedom. Pursue it honestly, but do not confuse it with the destination. Number 7, the version of yourself you're most afraid to show people is usually the most lovable one. I spent the first 50 years of my life performing composure. People told me how strong I was, how together I seemed. And I was lonely in ways I couldn't explain because I had made myself so managed that there was nothing left for anyone to actually reach. The years I finally let that go, the years I admitted fear, admitted need, those were the years I felt most loved. You are more lovable than you think, but people can only love what they can see. Let them see it. Number 8, most arguments are not about what they appear to be about. Harold and I argued about the temperature in the house, about the water heater, about the television volume for decades, and none of those arguments were ever really about any of those things. They were about feeling unheard, about fear wearing the costume of irritation, because fear was too vulnerable to show up as itself. If you find yourself having the same argument repeatedly, stop arguing about the surface. Ask what is underneath it. That is where the real conversation is waiting. Number 9, time does not heal everything, but it does change your relationship to most things. The grief I felt when Harold died did not go away. 30 years later, it is still here, in a quieter form. It shows up on his birthday, on ordinary Tuesday mornings for no reason at all. What changed was my capacity to carry it alongside everything else, to be sad about Harold and glad about my grandchildren in the same afternoon. You do not get over the things that matter. You get larger, large enough to hold them. Number 10, and this one I want you to hear very carefully. The life you're waiting to start living is the one you're already living. Harold used to say we would travel when he retired. We had a list: Italy, Scotland, the coast of Maine. He retired at 67. His heart condition was diagnosed at 68. He died at 73. We never made it to Italy. The ordinary Tuesday you're living right now, the one that feels like a placeholder, like a waiting room, that Tuesday is your life, not a rehearsal for it. I am 92 years old. I've run out of whens. You still have time to stop waiting for yours, but not as much time as you think. 92 years. 10 things I know for certain. The most important one is the last one. Stop waiting. You're already there.